All right. So she just said that you adopted a puppy from her, right?
I did. I got Ellie.
Oh, okay.
She's adorable. I've had her for about 6 weeks now, and she's a sweet girl. But there's a few things that are, and this is my first dog, so I want to make everything work and make her life as best it can too. So,
Okay. How old is she?
she is about a year and a half, they said, and she was found abandoned, basically tied to a tree down there in North Carolina, and
Okay.
then Tony rescued her, and I got her about 6 weeks ago. So.
Okay. All right. So tell me what's going on.
So the two big things for her. One is that separation anxiety. I honestly didn't become aware. I haven't worked that much, and I really haven't left her alone for that much at all. But even when I do, if it's for an hour or 2 hours or so, it wasn't until I set up a camera to kind of see how she was doing that I realized that first when I started off by crating her, and it was like trying to bust out of the crate, crying, barking for an hour straight, which I thought the neighbors were eventually going to kill me, but none has said anything. But
Okay.
and over time, that barking period and the anxiety period got a little shorter and shorter. She would kind of just sleep for the time being, but it still was really upsetting to me to see her going through that. And then I started so I have a pretty large bathroom area that has like a laundry area too. So it's a good space. I kind of dog proofed it, and I started letting her out in there, thinking, I was concerned that she was like trying to bust out of the crate, and maybe just kind of having some more room to roam around, stretch her legs. Well, I put her food in there, I put a bed in there, and some toys and everything, and set the camera up in there. And I've been doing that for about a week. I've left her in there for like 3 or so hours, 3 or 4 times now, and she's just looks distressed the whole time, pacing around, panting. Doesn't eat her food, doesn't touch her water, barks again still. So, I'd like to, and when I'm with her, she's fun. She's an angel. I mean, there's been no behavioral problems or no like destructive, nothing. When I'm with her, it's great. Here, she's chilling right here, sleeping on the couch. But I'd like to get to the point, and I don't know if that's just something that's gonna get better on its own, or if you can kind of train that out of her or what. But I imagine obviously her situation has a lot to do with why she's like this, and it's heartbreaking, but I get it. So.
All right. So can we do one thing at a time? We'll do this and then we'll go on to the next. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so both of us have our train of thought. So the one thing with separation anxiety, it's been my experience that dogs with separation anxiety, they experience it regardless of what place they're confined in. Okay. The thing with a larger area, do you hear me okay? Oh, much better. Even the resolution, okay. Even the resolution is better.
Yeah, I got a crappy laptop I'm using.
That's okay.
Right. Sorry about that.
No worries. All right. So I'm not sure where you left off. So separation anxiety, regardless of what place you're confining her in, especially right now, it was 6 weeks she's with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still early in the process. So
okay.
She's going to experience that, especially for the foreseeable future. You may possibly be dealing with some levels of anxiety for the rest of her life, but my experience with giving separation anxiety dogs more space is they have more room. That it's almost like, if they start pacing and stuff, it's almost like it contributes more to their anxiety. Almost, like you ever running downhill or skating downhill, you're only going to go faster and faster and faster, right?
Okay.
So crating is usually the safest way to go about it, provided she's not like popping bars off and then she's got bars sticking in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it hasn't been that extreme.
Okay.
It just,
Right.
it was just a little disconcerting to see. And
Yeah.
I felt, just I in my mind, like, cause I'm not as knowledgeable a dog owner. I thought maybe she would feel better having, more space to move around.
Yeah,
but-
and sometimes they do, right? There's no one size fits all. Sometimes bigger space does help dogs feel better. Fortunately for you, you actually set up a camera to see what she was doing, which was great, because that's actually one of the things that I suggest people to do. So we don't have to wait for that information to come back to us. You already have it, right? My guess is that although there was similar intensity as far as her anxiety goes, she ultimately settled down in the crate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then would sleep for the rest of the day.
Okay. Here's the thing with, and she may never have been exposed to a crate in her life, right? If she was left tied out somewhere, you may, she was, was she in a foster home prior to getting to you?
Yeah, but not for long.
That home may have been her first experience inside a home, right? So now she's with you in a crate, right? So the thing with crating, and I actually have a crate video I could send you after this as well, but we'll talk about it briefly. Especially with dogs with separation anxiety, the crate has to be utilized when you're home as well. Okay. Right. So there's no association with the crate and then separation from you, because then as soon as she gets in the crate, the anxiety's there. Do you give her any kind of like stuffed Kong toys or chew toys and stuff?
So when she loves them when I'm here. And like I said, I was giving them to her when I leave, and she doesn't touch them when I'm not there. So okay, so that's a good opportunity. If she likes chewing on stuff, you want to give her little crate chewing sessions when you're home. Okay, and going in the crate, you could toss a treat in. Obviously now you're going to give her like a chew treat or something to chew on. You could put her in there. You don't have to talk to her. Just say, come on, girl, get in, or whatever your word is to kennel up. And just close the door as matter of fact as possible. And I'm not sure where her crate is in your home, but in my bedroom. Okay, so if you could start out with maybe like 5 or 10 minute increments where you're putting her in there, and maybe just like sit down in your bed, read some email on your phone or something. Don't pay any attention to her. You can't look at her. You can't talk to her. It has to be as matter of fact as possible. Okay. Now, with you being there, she may not exhibit the same level of anxiety, and she may chew on her toy. That's our objective, right? That's what we're looking for. If she does that, you don't have to wait 10 or 15 minutes. You can wait 5 minutes, as long as you put her in there. You say you sit on your bed, hop on your phone or whatever, and she starts chewing. After a few minutes, matter of fact, let her out, or just open the crate door. You don't even have to say, come on, just open the crate door and walk away. That will build her tolerance as far as, getting in the crate with, disassociating from crate and you leaving the house, right? Is that going to cure it? No, but that's where we have to start. Okay. This way, when she is in the crate, she's still going to experience anxiety. Our hope is that it's not as intense and it's not as long. Okay. That's kind of our. You definitely think it's the right move to step back from like the bathroom idea and go back to.
Right now, only because the crate seems to be a more successful place for her, because she calms down quicker. Yeah. Okay. Right. And, again, that snowball effect of constant pacing, and she's just, it's and she doesn't need to have water in her crate. You don't have to do that. And, it's especially with rescue dogs. And I'm doing this a long time, bro. And when I hear these stories of dogs left alone, tied out, it breaks my heart. Yeah. It does. That empathy doesn't leave you, so don't feel bad that you feel bad for her. We all do. Okay. Yeah. The hard part is disconnecting from our emotions and making sure that we're kind of keeping her safe. And that, I think the crate right now, because she's not chewing off bars, right? If she was chewing off bars and stuff, we're having a different conversation. But she's probably pushing at the door, maybe biting on it a little bit. As long as she's abandoning that after a period of time, that's good. And I agree with you. The fact that your neighbors haven't complained that's very beneficial, because, people who live in apartment buildings and stuff, sometimes they can't do these things because the dogs, they're going to bark. Yeah. So, but yeah, so you want to start utilizing the crate when you're home, right? So that's what we're going to start there. Your next progression, and obviously if you leave the house, you got to put her in the crate. There's nothing you can do about it, right? There's no, there's no magic formula for how you're going to do that other than just put her in and leave. No sweet talking.
The other thing is I had read it's, you never want to like force your dog into the crate or make her go into the crate. But it got to the point where I think because she only associated it with me leaving that she was so afraid to get into the crate. So I guess like what your suggestion will hopefully make her feel more comfortable just wanting to go in there. At night she does. She like when it's bedtime and like I get ready for bed and I'm going to bed, she loves actually just walking right into the crate. She'll sit down and surprisingly sleeps, quiet as a mouse for 8 hours, doesn't try to get out of the crate, doesn't cry, nothing. Like she's great overnight in the crate. So, I mean, that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, no, that is a good thing. And that's one of the other exercises in the crate video I'm going to send you. It talks about a lot of things you can do. The other thing, which is very important is, just maybe have some, I don't know if you have like a little canister of treats in your bedroom or something.
Yeah.
You're not going to coax her in there. Does she know the treats are there?
Yeah, because like when I go to reach for
Okay, so you can go reach for them. She knows you got them. Toss it in the crate and walk away. Don't close the door. Do that throughout the day, whenever the hell you want.
Okay.
So now it's just, I'm just going in the crate to get my treat. Dad's not leaving. The door's not closing. It's another thing, again, just to desensitize her to it. But I got to be honest, it's the fact that she's going in there willingly and sleeping comfortably throughout the night that's a huge part of the equation as well. Because some separation anxiety dogs, they don't even do that. So, honestly, the objective is the crate is to make the crate benign. It's a non-event. It's just something else that happens in the day, which is why it's important that the crate comes up in her daily routine when you're home, not just when you leave.
Yeah, I definitely have not been doing enough of that. So
yeah. So and again, you don't have to say any words. You could just say, hey, "You want a cookie?" Make her sit, toss it in the crate, walk away. Don't wait and watch her. We want her to go in while we're walking away, and the door's not closed. Nothing bad is happening. Again, it's just another thing that the crate is part of her life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think as she gets comfortable in the crate, she may feel a little less anxiety when I'm not there, or?
I think no. I'm gonna be honest. No.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, especially if you guys bonded. I mean, it's one of the biggest blessings and curses at the same time. It's great that they bonded to us, but shit. Yeah. Again, the intensity and the longevity of the anxiety, that's what we're looking for, right? That's what we want to see decrease, because as that decreases, let's say it gets to 5 minutes. Okay. Dogs that don't have overt symptoms of separation anxiety, they still feel separation anxiety when their owners leave. They just don't act out because, but I mean, our dogs don't like when we leave.
Yeah.
They don't, right? But some dogs, they have that anxiety base to it, and obviously then
I definitely did not. I don't know what really made, I think, someone made a suggestion to try the bathroom, and I thought it sounded like a good idea, but in hindsight, I did actually kind of see the barking time, lesson for like the 2 weeks that I was, was putting her in the crate. So I guess that, that was progress. And then I think I made a step backwards with the bathroom.
You were just trying something. There's no step backwards in these situations, right? Because honestly, your progression is from the crate to that laundry room. Because now once she's comfortable and you feel like her anxiety is a little less, we could certainly progress to that, because now she has more room to hang out and relax, right? Even when I have people crate train dogs, right? Like, usually we use crate training because dogs, they're not housebroken, so we crate train them first, right? Dogs that are already housebroken but need to be crate trained for other reasons, like separation anxiety, then we don't want a smaller crate. We want a bigger crate because they're more comfortable, right? So ideally, the progression to this would be that laundry room at some point.
Okay.
And
she doesn't have the bathroom has not been an
bathroom,
issue.
right? Okay, I say laundry. Okay.
Or no, I'm saying her using the bathroom has not been an issue. She's very well, surprisingly trained.
Good.
she loves her spot outdoors, and that hasn't been an issue. So
right. Yeah. So once you have a better hold on this, you feel a little more comfortable with her progression in the crate. You're going to introduce the laundry room or bathroom wherever she stays. You're going to introduce it the same way. Randomly toss treats in there. Okay. Don't, just put her in there. What do you have, a gate up? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Put the gate up. And this is where, I mean, I don't know, it's a bathroom or a laundry room?
It's both. It's like connected. So
okay.
It's a pretty decent space.
So it's like off a hallway?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously there's no bed or couch in your hallway. So when you feel, and obviously you can call or text me anytime throughout the process. I mean, don't think that this is the only time we could talk. You could, I'm here to help, especially, and all of Tony's people. I love Tony, so I'll do anything for her. So this is a little awkward, but if we don't speak and you get to the point where you're going to start introducing the bathroom again, you're going to, same process, toss a treat in, build her up, feed her in there maybe. But the first time you close that gate up, maybe pull a chair from the kitchen and sit down and go on your phone.
Okay.
So again, that room's not associated with you leaving. It's just another thing that happens in her life. So you would kind of, and when you watch the crate video, obviously I go more in depth to where, I want to make sure we optimize our time here.
Sure.
But basically the bathroom is going to be a giant crate. And you're kind of going to be introducing it the same way. But first things first, because the crate has given her, she's been better in the crate from an anxiety standpoint. Let's go back to that for now.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. I like that. I like thinking of the bathroom as the next crate to go to, and then maybe
I mean, especially, if it's a bed, it's got to be like 8 by 8 or something.
I think it's probably even bigger than that, honestly.
I mean, bigger, nice, cushy bed in there. You want to, pimp it out for her. Not yet. That's all.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's you're 6 weeks in, right? And if you think about most people, even me, I'm a dog trainer, and I tell people to do all these things. When I first adopt a dog, I love on them a little bit in the beginning. They get a little free love. They get away with murder a little bit. So you had a little bit of that honeymoon phase going on. So now, we got to kind of
do what's best for her.
Pull back on the reins a little bit and add some structure to her life. And this is where we start.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. We'll go back to the crate.
Yep. What else you got?
So, the other one's a little more general, but so she's been, I don't think, well, I don't know. Obviously, I have no idea if she was ever trained or not. So as far as obedience training or just following some commands, I've made a lot of progress as far as simple stuff, sit down. We're getting a little bit better on stay, but only in the confines of this apartment, this quiet apartment. I take her anywhere else and she's in her own world, very overstimulated, she's comfortable. She's not necessarily anxious.
She's preoccupied.
Constantly got her nose to the ground. She's like a hound mix or something. Yeah. She's always sniffing something. Doesn't even know I exist. She walks on the leash well when we are going 75% of the time, but if she sees something that interests her, it's her own thing. It's no commands outdoors, no, and I basically want to be able to, it's just basic safety stuff. I don't need to show off for a trick or anything, just a good, safe obedience relationship.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how. Again, I guess I don't know what to expect in 6 weeks, but how can I kind of make her start to, and then treats, I even tried treats outdoors and not interested at all. I bring them in here and she'll kill me for a treat, take her outside and it's like I'm giving her own poop or something. She doesn't want it. So,
all right. So now, do you have a house or do you live in a condo or?
I live in an apartment building.
Apartment building. Okay. So you don't have a yard?
No.
Okay. So, the thing, and this is true for dogs that have never been exposed to obedience, or puppies who are just learning. What happens in the living room and the kitchen and the dining room does not happen outside. Like you just described, right? When it comes to dogs that get preoccupied with new surroundings, there's two options. Let's say we're trying to control her. You can correct her or redirect her with food, right? Regardless of what approach a trainer or an owner may take, the correction or the food resource has to be of greater value than what's preoccupying her, right? So what that means is whatever treat you're using inside, you don't want to use outside. You need to increase the value. So chopped up hot dogs, bacon, chicken, some kind of food source that she normally doesn't get, right? We need to, we have to be greater than what's preoccupying her.
Okay.
Right. The thing is this, now you're in an apartment building, you're upstairs, downstairs, or?
Yeah, upstairs.
Okay. So how many,
floor,
you have an elevator or you have to walk?
I live right next to the back stairwell. So I go right out my door down
one flight,
6, but short,
okay.
smaller.
Okay. All right. So what you want to do is, obviously you want to take her out so she could eliminate and do her business.
Yeah.
You want to start working, like sit down and come, what works in your house, right? You got to do it in the hallway.
Okay.
Right. It's a natural progression. I'm guessing you have never worked her in your hallway. As it could be a big hallway or a small hallway. It doesn't matter. So maybe after you go for a walk, you come back up, grab a couple of little pieces of hot dog, go back in the hallway, do some sits and downs. Because now she's working for you outside of the house, technically, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't have to do it every landing of each stairwell. Like you don't have to do it, but you could do it.
She'd be a fat dog.
Yeah, you could do it like downstairs. Once you get downstairs, before you actually go out the door, you could do one there. And then, generally you want to walk her first, get her walk out of the way. And then you do these little exercises. After you do this for a couple of days, then walk her. And then before you go back inside, have the hot dogs or whatever on you. Right. And I'm just using hot dogs as an example. You have to find out what works for you outside. Right.
Sure.
Then before you go back in, do a couple of sits and downs right by the doorway and then go inside. What you want to focus on is real quick hits. You don't want to have who the hell wants to do sits and downs for 20 minutes? I don't. Okay. Right. That's freaking boring. Yeah. The objective is to make sure that she succeeds.
Okay.
So real short, quick hits is really going to be our goal to start getting her to work for us outside. Because here's the problem. If you're on a walk, she responds 75% of the time. Well, once she catches a scent or something piques her interest,
yep,
no food may make a difference.
I mean, that's kind of that's what I've been experiencing. Although like I haven't tried special stuff, like special outdoor stuff.
Yeah. So with walks, I'm a big believer of, especially early on in the process of having a dog, is we want them to walk so they could exercise a little and sniff and, be a dog, right? I like, even with my own dogs, and they're old now and I'm a trainer, but I still stop periodically and make them sit. Because if I stop periodically, make them sit, look to me when there's nothing going on, they're more likely to do that if something is going on. Right? Because think about it, if you're walking right now, you think she'll sit as reliably as she does in your living room?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
She won't even consider it.
Right. So if just any natural progression, just like with the crate, right? We got to make it a non-event, right? Well, with the walk, we have to make sitting and looking to us just something that happens on the walk. It's not just when a squirrel or a leaf blows, or you know what I mean? It's all the time. She always has to sit to look to us. And again, that's why it starts, as soon as you go out that back door, you go for your walk, come back, do a little work there. But on the walk, periodically get her to sit. If you have to whiff, give her a little whiff of the treat to get her to sit, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not proud. I'll bribe any dog if it gets them sitting on, in distractions, right? The repetition of that is going to create a more reliable dog when it comes to obedience. So
just look for moments when she may, it's just not too much is happening. She's, we're just walking.
Right. Because if she doesn't sit when nothing's happening, she's not going to sit when there's something that's piquing her interest.
Okay.
Right. And the repetition of that, she's more likely to sit for you. And, maybe you got to give her a little tug on the leash to get her attention or something. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, and if you do that, if you got to, hey, leave it. If she's looking at something, give her a little tap on the leash, get her looking at you. Good girl. Give her a sit and then give her a treat. Good girl. And then carry on your walk. If I had to give you a number, it's going to sound crazy. I would say, once she's working in the hallway and then working downstairs before you go outside, once you're getting pretty reliable there, and then she's working outside before you come in. Once that happens, and again, we're talking a few days, she should start picking up on this, because think about it. Outside your door, downstairs before you go out, nothing going on.
Okay.
Other than she knows she's going for a walk, she might be a little excited, right?
Right.
Coming back in, you already went for the walk. She knows you're going back inside. So again, it's a distraction, but a lower distraction than being out on a walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I have a couple times successfully gotten her to sit in the elevator on the way up, like alone, just us in the elevator. So like I wanted her to try to make that her default behavior in the elevator. Right. So, but yeah, that's just a quiet, it's a quiet room.
Yeah.
Just us.
Right.
So, but not in the house. So, okay.
And if you think about the reason why I have people do that 30, 40 step stop and sit routine, it's not just about the stopping and sitting, but when you stop, her default becomes sit because you stopped, right? So when
I always see, I see that with like dog owners on their walk, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so impressive.
It happens through repetition.
Okay.
That's the only way that happens, right? Now, granted, we could wave a treat every time. That's how we create repetition and rely and success. But let's fast forward 6 months. You're not going to have treats on you on the walk all the time. But when you stop, you might even go to look at her to give her the sit, and she's already sitting and looking up to you. That's where we want her to be. Because I mean, I don't have no pop. You could teach her a gazillion commands if you want. I think sit and come are those two commands got to be solid.
Okay.
Those are the two, and especially on a walk, because she walks pretty well, which is good. And so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But when we say sit, we need her to sit. And again, with those owners that you see, they did that repetition. And if you ask them, 99% of them will tell you, oh, it was tough in the beginning. Right. And now you have
tough in the beginning.
Yeah. And now you have a rescue dog that probably was never exposed to domestic life.
Yeah.
So.
She's making herself at home.
She hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
So
do you have thought? I mean, I've had friends with well-trained dogs who they use shock collar training. Have you give thoughts on that, or for someone like her who maybe doesn't? At least now doesn't respond to treats, but I'm going to try what you suggest.
Yeah, so I'm an operant conditioning trainer. What that means is I believe in all 4 quadrants of operant conditioning: positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative reinforcement.
Okay.
None of them are bad, even though they sound bad. When it comes to tools, there's a lot of controversy surrounding tools in the dog training community, mostly because there's a lot of shitty trainers that are borderline abusing dogs with them. But any tool introduced and used properly can be an effective means to an end. That being said, when it comes to teaching dogs new behaviors, I believe when we're teaching them something new, like a sit on a walk, that should be done with positive reinforcement, meaning food luring. Okay. Once the food luring works, right, and we got reliable behavior out of her. Now, keep in mind, what did I just tell you to get her attention? A leash pop, right?
Yeah, just a little tug on which is what I naturally do anyway.
That's positive punishment, technically, right? We're applying uncomfortable pressure to get her attention, right? So if you have to get her attention or get her away from something, leave it pop, good girl. So literally in the matter of 3/4 of a second, you can have a correction and a reward.
Okay.
And that helps dogs learn faster, and they achieve retention quicker because it's clear forms of communication. Bad, good. When it comes to teaching obedience, I am a proponent of 100% positive reinforcement at first, because we need them to associate that behavior with all good stuff, right? Once they know, and we know that they know their obedience in many different situations and environments, let's say she's a year old. Let's say a year and a half from now, she develops a little edge towards other female dogs. right? I don't think she will. I'm just using that as an example.
Sure.
Like a year and a half from now, her obedience is going to be solid. Your relationship is going to be solid. She's going to be a great dog, but she might have an edge towards the female dogs. You might have to correct her out of that because treats are not going to work.
Okay.
Right. So that's the balance between using tools and using rewards. Bottom line, teaching new behaviors should be rewarded.
Okay. So
now's
not the time to.
Now's not, and it's 6 weeks into. And remember, you're pulling back the reins a little bit, right? You're reintroducing confinement. You're going to be adding a structured walk to her life. You're going to be working her in 3 new environments: outside your door, downstairs before you go out, and right outside the door. And now we're adding the walks in, right? That's a lot of change in her life right now, and it's all for the better, right? So, and again, I'm not opposed to tools, but we don't know if we need them yet. So as much as I don't mind using tools, and I use tools myself, I don't use them just for the sake of using them. I use them based on the individual dog and the individual situation. Okay. So does that answer your question?
Yep. Yeah, it does. I haven't exhausted the other stuff yet. So that makes sense.
Let's put it, she hasn't had the opportunity to learn in new environments. Right?
Yeah.
That's all. And remember, the collar, the leash, those are tools. A little pop on the leash, you might get her attention. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. I can tell you right now, there's trainers out there right now that would be like, oh my God, that's abuse. Oh, come on. It's abuse. You're giving the dog a little friggin' pop on the leash to get her attention because she wants to go chase something.
Exactly. Yeah. She's not gonna kill a squirrel because I don't want to hold her back,
Yeah. So it's, as long as you have a relationship based on trust and, you're giving her everything she needs and more, you're not going to damage your relationship by giving her a little pop on a leash.
Okay.
So,
she still seems to like me so far. So she likes me so much that she hates when I leave.
That's right.
Back to square one. So.
Yeah.
All right. So 6 weeks is not a long time, then, is what you're saying. Basically, we haven't really.
You'll have a really good idea of her fully after about 90 days.
Okay.
And then 6 months in, she's going to start to be entering maturation. So you'll start to get glimpses of what her adult temperament is going to be like. Whereas you might see, less outbursts, right? Whether it's separation anxiety, or does she get the puppy zoomies now still at a year old, a year and a half?
Occasionally, yeah, she'll do some laps around the apartment, but not excessively.
Right. So she's a year and a half, right? So so she'll be 2 in 6 months. She'll be with you for, just over 6 months at that time. Yeah. You'll see some personality changes, usually in energy requirements. She may still get her zoomies, but less zoomies, more of that adult kind of temperament type of thing, but she'll still be puppy at heart kind of.
Okay.
But yeah, you're going to see you'll see her evolve. It's really fun to watch. Especially when you rescue a dog, and like right now, I mean, I'm sure she's home sweet home. If you and I never talked, like 6 months from now, her separation anxiety might have gone away anyway, because she feels, oh shit, I'm staying. Like, you know what I mean?
That's kind of what I'm waiting. It's like kind of like waiting. I was just kind of going to sit back and hope the other shoe drop, where she's like, oh, I'm, he comes back every time. I'm, I'm not tied to a tree anymore, but it's hard to sit and watch. So I wanted to try to, proactively try.
It sucks seeing them all anxious and stuff. It does, and I hate to humanize dogs, but like, I think that stuff, like, maybe like one day they're just going to know, hey, I'm home.
I hope so. And then the thing with the cameras is kind of like, shit, do I want to watch this? Like, is it better to just not know and have like blissful ignorance? But then you like sit and watch and you're like, oh my God, I need to go back. I can't have her be like this. So, but it's good to know at least that, this was stressing her out.
It sucks to watch, but especially when it comes to dogs and rescue dogs, especially, information is so helpful for us. So yeah, I mean, we got to kind of process our emotions of feeling bad for what we're watching, but you have it on camera. So the beautiful thing, you can literally be like, for 2 weeks, she was doing this for like, because the difference between 14 minutes of experiencing overt anxiety and 10 minutes to us is not a lot. That's a huge step as far as the dogs are concerned. You know what I mean? And usually it's like the dogs will experience anxiety for half hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. And it could take weeks or months for that time to chisel down a few minutes, right? And then for it to chisel down 10 minutes, it only takes a couple of days, because their behavior, there's no outcome to her experiencing anxiety in the crate, right? What is she can't pace. Pacing pacing could actually build anxiety. You know, she could spin around a couple of times, push on the door with a paw, but that's it. After that, she gives up. Right. So that's what we're,
and then just sleeps. And then, should like we're out like a rock for hours.
Yeah. We're looking for those little 1 minute increment miracles.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
And as long as it's getting, you know, less frequent and less intense.
Which I did notice it happening. So back to that, and kind of keep a log, I guess.
For sure. Yep.
All right, cool. Well, you've definitely given me a lot to work on, and you know, I think the biggest thing is going to go back to the crate, and I knowing I think she'll be a little happier or less anxious in there is like I said, I think of it as, you have this huge bathroom, but you've definitely sold me on going back to the crate for her.
And remember that huge bathroom is likely in her future. So
okay.
Yep.
Cool. So, and then we'll try small steps outside the apartment too. Yep. I really have I've kind of I haven't given up, but I'm like, oh well, she has no interest, so I guess she's never going to listen to me outside. After 6 weeks, it's been no.
Right. And now, and if think about it, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but how much structure and direction have you really given her on walks? Right. So we don't know.
We're walking. We're out. She poops and pees, and then we walk.
Right. Now it's a working walk.
Okay.
Still going to let her pee and poop, let her sniff a little bit, but she's got to start working. Bottom line.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.